CNN projects that former Democratic Congresswoman and CIA case officer Abigail Spanberger will be elected the governor of Virginia, defeating the Commonwealth's sitting lieutenant governor, Republican Winsome Earl Sears. Abigail Spanberger will become the very first woman governor in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Again, CNN projects that Abigail Spanberger will be elected governor of Virginia. CNN's Jeff Zeleny is at the Spanberger campaign headquarters in Richmond, Virginia, the capital of Virginia. And Jeff, it must be pretty jubilant there as far as I can see from behind you.
Jake, it definitely was. This crowd here just learned moments ago that the projections are calling this race for Abigail Spanberger. Now, that is not necessarily a surprise because they were confident going into this. But what they are seeing in the particular counties is really giving them a bit of a lift. Loudoun County, for example, right outside Washington, D.C., that is going very strong for her. And you can hear the crowd behind me now as they see more of these numbers come in. Abigail Spanberger represented the Richmond area when she was elected to Congress back in 2018. She won a red seat. She used really this moderate Democratic message, but also had some tough medicine for Democrats who she believed were leading the party astray. So it is going to be very fascinating here as Abigail Spanberger begins her governorship here. It's a historic one when she takes office in January. How does she lead Virginia? What type of path does she make? But there's no doubt she talked very little about Donald Trump in the final days of this race, but Donald Trump was on the mind of many voters. So I just talked to a school teacher here, Jake, who brought her 2-year-old daughter to this party to watch history being made, and indeed now it has. Virginia was one of 18 states that had never elected a woman governor. Now it certainly has. But even more than that, Democrats have been looking for a bit of a revival, if you will. They've been looking for a bit of a injection of energy after that punishing defeat a year ago. So now they have it here. The question is, will Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey, who is her roommate on Capitol Hill, will she fare the same as Spanberger did? We'll find out when polls close now in New Jersey. Jake?
All right, Jeff Zeleny at Spanberger campaign headquarters in Richmond, Virginia. I mean, the polls didn't even close an hour ago. That is quite a big moment for Democrats who have had not a lot to be happy about in the last year.
Candidates matter. And I'm sure that you've both had the same experience in talking to Republicans, particularly those who have been very focused on Virginia, and they have been less than thrilled with Winsome Earl Sears and her campaign.
She needs no introduction. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to begin. We're getting all of these results in from, of course, here in New York City, but New Jersey, Virginia. It appears to be a huge night for Democrats. What is the national story to you?
You know, I think what this night is starting and shaping up to represent is that Americans everywhere are not going to be scared. We will not be intimidated by an administration that is violating the rights and making life hard and unaffordable for every single American in this country. And we will send in a wave of Democrats that not bow to this administration, but stand up to this administration, and doing so in the interests of working families, in the interest to make life affordable, housing affordable, and to stand for the civil rights of all.
Have you been at all surprised by the level of energy and engagement here in New York, but across the country in a sort of off-cycle year?
You know, I have to tell you, in my traveling across the country, I am hearing and have been seeing consistent things from everyday people. And it is that they are terrified, they are frustrated, they are angry, and they are shocked by a president that thinks he has total impunity and is violating the values that we hold dear, our liberties and our freedoms. And so I'm not surprised, but I am very encouraged by everyday people tonight.
A lot of conversation right now about, well, who is the face of the Democratic Party at this point? Is it Zoran Mamdani? Is it Abigail Spanberger? Who is the face, the soul of the party in your view? Or is it all of them?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. This is debate that I saw happen when I was first elected. And at the end of the day, I don't think that our party needs to have one face. Our country does not have one face. It's about all of us as a team together, and we all understand the assignment. Our assignment everywhere is to send the strongest fighters for the working class wherever possible. In some places, like Virginia for the gubernatorial seat, that's going to look like Abigail Spanberger. In New York City, unequivocally, it is Zohran Mamdani.
Trump has long threatened to pull funding from this city. We know that there's a plan to bring more ICE agents here soon. And he's been very clear about the fact. He endorsed Cuomo last night in the 11th hour. Are you at all afraid of what that fight is going to look like in the coming weeks? Do you think Mamdani is ready to take on President Trump?
Well, you know, it doesn't surprise me. President Trump is a 34-time convicted felon, and he is endorsing a sexual harasser that has multiple accusations, very credible accusations and investigations against them. Birds of a feather, you know, they flock together, and we have to understand how grave this threat is. We know that Donald Trump has not only been convicted of committing crimes, but that the Supreme Court has given him a blank check to continue to commit crimes while in office. So we cannot underestimate the threat and the danger of this moment, but we cannot respond to that threat with cowardice. We cannot respond to that threat with complying in advance. We have to respond to that threat with a strong, organized, cohesive, and strategic effort to fight for working families, rule of law, and civil rights for every American across age, ethnicity, gender, and geography. And I believe that we can do that.
I have to tell you, as I was out at polling locations today, as much as Democrats were talking about Trump, they were also angry with the Democratic establishment, and they were calling people out like Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, who they felt at points, in their view, disrespected Zohran Mamdani during this campaign, that they should have shown him more support, that they had heard these Democrats say vote blue no matter who in the past, and that didn't seem to apply at this point. Do you think after what we're seeing tonight, there will be more unity in the Democratic Party? Are things going to change?
Well, you know, I think it speaks to the absolutely heroic effort